Hello everyone, this is Supersnoopy here, back with another Star Wars The Old Republic video. Today I have for you guys another Star Wars The Old Republic discussion episode. In today's episode I'm going to be talking about the level 60 to level 65 operations, what's going to be changing, the new ideas that BioWare does currently have for the operations. I'm just going to be giving my overall opinions on it and views, and then of course the important information that you guys have probably read about. So I hope you guys enjoy this Star Wars The Old Republic discussion episode. As always, if you guys enjoy these videos, then make sure to leave a like. And if you guys want some nice gaming glasses, then check the link down below. No scope gaming glasses, but yeah. I hope you guys enjoy this video, and I'll see you guys in the discussion. Alrighty guys, but let's get into the discussion right now. So as you can tell, the background gameplay is me playing the Ravengers story mode operation. I'm currently playing it with my guild. I'm actually playing it right now as I'm recording this video. But I'm playing with them. Some of them have done it a few times. Some of them have done it multiple times. And we're just going to go ahead and do it because of the story mode group finder. But I thought this footage would be really interesting to record just with the discussion we're having. So as I said in the intro, we're going to be talking about the level 65, the operations, what they're doing to them, the little revamp, the bolster, and all that random stuff. Now let's just get into it right now. So if you didn't know, the whole entire expansion of the Fallen Empire, there's going to be a new and unique way with how they're dealing with level 65. So they're going to be revamping all the operations and upping them to the new level. So there will be new end game content slash gear, actually new end game gear to drop. Not really content, considering we've already had this in a while. But they're going to be adding the whole entire new set of gear, as they always do with these patches. And then it's going to be with all the old and new operations. So, more or less, it's kind of a revamp of the endgame content of Star Wars The Old Republic. I'm going to call it that small little update along with the Fallen Empire. So, more or less, this update seems like it's a revamp of the game itself, or a whole entire revamp of the story and the PvE. Haven't seen too much of the PvP content being revamped, but seems like this update is going to be a huge revamp of a bunch of things and new additions. But I mean, anyways, that's besides the point. Now, what I'm here to talk about is my views on the operations and what they're going to be doing with the PvE. Now, one problem I do have is just that the fact that they aren't going to be focusing on any new PvE content from what I can tell just yet. That might be changing down the road, maybe in a month or so. They just secretly announce something. You don't really see that too often, but if they do, then yeah, there's that. But they're going to be revamping every single operation: Eternity Vault, Karaga's Palace, Explosive Conflict, Scum and Villainy, just everything, Dread Palace, Dread Fortress, you name it. They're going to be revamping all that stuff. I'm not sure if they even said the Monolith is going to be revamped. I don't think they need to revamp that at all. But yeah, they're going to be revamping Golden Fury. They're going to be revamping all the operations. They're going to be bouncing them up to the level. They're going to drop new types of gear that will be used for endgame. But there's one problem that I do have with this. Like I said, I mean, it's really cool that they're going to try and revamp the whole entire operations to try to get people back into it. But from what I've seen on Reddit and other forums is that a lot of people don't seem to agree with this little choice. Now, I'm kind of 50-50 on this. Now, the reason I'm 50-50 is on one end, you can clearly see that this is going to be really useful for people that are just trying to get into the operations and or they want to do all the new endgame content and just want to get through the whole entire game itself. But at the same time, the players that have played here for quite a while, and they've gone through most of the game, they understand how it works, and they've just done these operations 20 million times. They are going to start to realize, the huge differences that are going to happen overall. And they aren't going to want to see too much of these same exact operations, and some might likely unsub. Now, what I would say is I'm not one of those players that really cares too much when there's not new operations added every now and then. But I understand, I just completely understand for the players that, they constantly play this game. They beat all the end game near the beginning. And, they're like, where is the end game content for PvE itself? I mean, it's all gone. And that's the same way for the PvP, because a lot of people do note this, is that this whole entire end game for this game itself, Star Wars The Old Republic, a lot of people don't agree with this whole entire plan of just focusing more or less on story. Now, I for one think it's absolutely amazing that they're working on the story, because that's going to be, the signature BioWare, that's what they're known for. But at the same time, it's going to be a bit disappointing, because some players are going to be really sad about the new PvP and PvE itself. But anyways, besides all this stuff and just me ranting and rambling about the operations and my views on it, I just want to talk about the basic information. Now, besides the operations themselves, this is also going to be completely coordinated with the whole entire flashpoints. Now, with the flashpoints, what it's going to do is that they're going to actually bolster them the same way they're doing with the operations. So they're going to be level 60, level 65, all that stuff. So that's really awesome as well. I mean, they're just trying to bring back the older content, give a reason to do it. And I don't see too much of a problem with it. The only problem that I currently have with these new operations in the whole entire bolster is that it's going to kind of ruin it for some of the players that get really bored easily. I understand I don't really get bored of this game, as you can tell, because I do run a channel of it that's really daily. But I understand that some players, after they play the operation like maybe like 3 or 4 times, and they've completed hard mode at least once on all of them, or Nightmare for like Dread Palace and Dread Fortress, then they're like, hey, what do I do right now? You know, like, what is going on? Are we going to do anything else? And then most of them unsub. But I can understand those players that, you know, unsub, but then when they don't see new content, they just stay unsubbed, and then when there's new content, they resub. I think it's not really on if you really want it to happen or if you don't. I think it just depends on, are you the kind of player that plans on staying around, wanting to redo some of the older content at a more difficult level? Because if you play Eternity Vault right now, like, go in right now when I'm, like, after this video, just, like, get, like, 2 people or 3 people together just to do, like, Explosive Conflict Nightmare mode. You'll understand that it's, like, insanely easy. But I can't just even I literally can't even imagine, like, that at level 65 at Nightmare mode, if they kept it. If they kept everything intact, all the mechanics, all the everything. Now, that would be definitely something, a force to be reckoned with. I mean, actually, the Explosive Conflict operation was somewhat difficult at level 50, and I think it would be really awesome to revamp something like that. And they are doing that, so it's going to introduce a new competition and challenge to the game for some players that got bored of just doing the older ones that are super easy. But I mean, yeah, I've done every single operation in the game at the time. I've done all the level 50, all the level 55, all the 60. Now, that's not saying that I've done every single Nightmare mode and everything. I mean, I've done more or less, I think I've done most of every single operation in hard mode and or Nightmare mode besides the TOS and, of course, the Ravengers. I've only done a bit of that in hard mode. But I mean, I have just honestly experienced most of the PvE content besides, like, the super difficult stuff. So I do understand that it is, like, for most players, just really irritating that this is going to happen. But for me, I'm just one of those players that, you know, they're fine with how this game goes. You know, they're just honestly, I'm like one of those players that really enjoys the game. I'm fine with seeing honest changes, and I like seeing when the game changes. It's just kind of the hope that this does not fail and it doesn't mess up and everything's ruined. Because a lot of players are starting to get that assumption that, you know, this game is going to be, or the game is just going to be a gigantic failure just because of the PvE aspect. And, you know, a lot of people are calling it like a downfall. Now, I can understand, like, some people getting a bit irritated by it, but I think that's a different way of revamping the whole entire older operations. But at the same time, it's very bad considering the fact that we aren't getting new operation content, which I know that a lot of people want. And a lot of people don't really care about the monolith, considering that's just a really small boss that is pretty simple to master. I mean, after you just do it like once or twice, you can easily complete it just by having like a simple healer and simple DPS. It's not too bad. But I mean, it's like kind of in that scenario, it's useful, but at the same time, I would just honestly like to see some new operations. Now, I know what some of you might be thinking. Snoopy, you're just contradicting yourself. You're just saying, you know, you want new operations, but at the same time, you want this nice little revamp change. Now, like I said, I mean, that's not saying that I don't want this revamp or new operations, but I just feel like this could be a good approach for the game, but at the same time, it's bad because there actually isn't any new operations themselves. So, in conclusion, I would say that this is just fine as it is that they're doing this. But at the same time, they should just really try to improve the whole entire tactics of the game itself. Just focusing on this whole entire idea, more or less. So, yeah, that's just my honest view on it. I mean, some people like it, some people don't. I'm just, honestly, just 50-50, like I said. I think that's just all that needs to be said. So I'm just going to go ahead and finish off the discussion video just by completing this little boss fight, since I know I haven't really been... I've been talking about the discussion, but I don't like videos where they just completely end off, you know, when they're just, like, doing a boss fight or something, and it's like what's going on, what happens next, kind of thing. I know it's a bit, like, weird, but I know that some players honestly do that way too often, like, what's going on. I'm going to also miss this. Yeah, this is going to hurt. But yeah, guys, I did say that's going to be the end of this Star Wars The Old Republic discussion episode. So I hope you guys enjoyed this episode of the Star Wars The Old Republic discussion, just talking about what they're going to be doing with the new operations and my honest views on it. As always, if you guys enjoy these videos, then make sure to leave a like and subscribe. And I will see you guys in the next one. Take care, guys.